Hello and welcome back to part 4 of our Let's Create Harry Potter. Okay, so in the last video, we just got through doing our run animation. We've already made our walk and our idle. So we're going to go ahead and export that now. So go File, Export. Make sure you've got everything selected here. File, Export, FBX. It should all be set up as it was previously, but I'll go over it again if not. We want selected objects, other mesh armature. You just have to hold down shift and select those. Forward -Y. Geometry is set to face. Armature. Let's just make this full screen. Armature. We want only deformed bones, but we don't want to add leaf bones. And for bake animation, we want to keep everything except for we want to change sampling rate to 0.1 and simplify to 0. Okay, and then just hit export and it'll just update your file. Okay, now we're done with Blender for a little while. We're going to come back later and make some attack animations, but for a little while we're just done with that. We're going to focus now on setting everything up in the engine. Right, so from your content folder, go into your Harry folder and into your animations. Now, before I had a run and a walk in here, like a blank file, I've deleted those, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Harry FBX. I'm going to drag it in. Okay, but this time we don't want to create a skeletal mesh, so we'll untick that. In fact, we do want a skeletal mesh, but we don't want to create one. We want to assign it to the Harry skeleton. So make sure that you untick that and then click the Harry skeleton. And we want to obviously bring in the animation, so that's all selected. And then just hit import all. Now what it will do is it will bring in the idle again. So there's two things you can do here. You can just grab the idle and delete it. Now Unreal doesn't like it when you delete files. So it might be a good idea just to create a new folder and just call this unused animations. Okay, so these are animations that are going to get brought in a couple of times. And we'll move that there. So now we've just got the animations that we're going to need, right? So let's get straight into it. Let's right click in the animation folder, go to the animation, it's at the top of these lists here, and then we create a blend space 1D, and it's going to be for Harry. And we're going to call this Harry, let's put a capital there, Harry _ BS. Double click to open it up. Okay, and then here on the horizontal settings, we're going to set this to speed. So it's going to check his speed, and we're going to set the minimum to 0, maximum to 600. Grid divisions to 6, just so it makes sense, and 0.2 for the interpolation time. If you've never used this blend space before, they're a lot of fun and they're easy to use. This is a graph with 0 and 600. Now we could put another graph coordinate going there up the top vertically, and then we could have that as like direction, so we could check the direction and change depending on the direction it's facing. We'll do that for a different character, but this is just going over how to set up a basic humanoid with some abilities. So let's get his idle, put that on 0. Let's get his run, put that at 600, and his walk will be 300. So now if you move this green diamond between the two, between the three animations, you'll see how they blend. Okay, and that looks pretty decent to say we did those animations in 10 minutes. Okay, obviously, professional animations take a lot longer than 10 minutes to do. Right, so that's set up. Now minimize that and right click animation again. Animation blueprint this time, and we want it for the Harry skeleton. Hit OK, and it's going to create that file for us eventually. And I'm going to call this Harry _anim _BP. Click on that, open it up. Okay, so we're going to right click and we're going to add new state machine. I'm going to click on that, come up here and call this, we'll leave it. I'm going to call it locomotion. Now, there are things we can do in here, which we are going to come and change later on, okay? But for now, we're just going to get this set up basically. But later on, we are going to come back and use animation montages. So we're going to have to create a slot, a default slot, and do all that kind of stuff. I will talk you through all that. It can be quite complicated. Open up Locomotion, and then we want to drag in. So if you can't see your animations, they're in the anim asset browser, which is here. Drag in your blend space, drag out from Entree, and an arrow into your blend space. Okay, double click to open it up. Drag out from speed here, this variable, and promote that variable. Call it speed. And then at the top here, click on the event graph. If you can't see this, it's just here. Okay, so you can get to it just here. So, right. Now here, this is where we're going to set up our animation blueprint. Again, later on, we're probably not going to use this system. So this is just for now. This is just for testing. So drag out and type cast to Harry BP, and the object's going to get plugged into the try get pawn owner. Now, if you remember, we want his speed. We need to check his speed, and that's going to set our animations. So as Harry BP, drag out and type get velocity. We also want to get actor forward vector. That's going to check our front-facing velocity. Drag out from here and type DOT for a dot product. That's going to combine those in some magical way that I don't fully understand and give us our speed. Hit compile. You'll see there he pops into his idle pose. Now, if we go into, now we can either go to Harry Blueprints and then click on him here, or it should still be open here, which he's not. Or the quickest way is just to click on him in the viewport and then come over to your world outliner and open him up there. Okay, we're going to get to some code soon, but first we need to click on our Harry mesh, come over to animation. For some reason it's set to use animation asset. Yours will be set to use animation blueprint, and then under animation class, go to Harry Anim BP, and you'll see as soon as I click that, he has popped into his idle pose. All right, hit compile, hit play, and there we go. You'll notice though that he popped straight into his run. Now the reason why he's popping straight into his run, there's a weird, there's some of the textures still need fixing by the looks of it, because you can't see through the inside of his cloak. So we'll go ahead and do that in a bit. But for now, I want to set up the sprint and walk. Okay, so go into the event graph, create a variable and call it sprint. Okay, and then we are going to use the shift. So type right click and type input shift, and we'll have the left shift down. Or is it left shift? Okay. So when left shift is pressed, we want a flip-flop. Flip-flop basically moves between two things. And then we want to grab the character movement component. You'll see what the flip-flop does. It flips between two states. So we'll grab the character movement and we want to set max walk speed. Set max walk speed. Okay, and that's going to be, so we're going to start out as walking. So we want to go to the character movement and set that to be 300. So let's have a look. Character walking, max walk speed is 300. And that's what it's going to be initially. Okay. And then when we press shift, we're going to change it to 600. Right. And then we're going to control CV to copy that. Move that down there just so it's organized. And then when we press it, we're going to move up to back to 300. So we press it once, it goes to 600. We press it again, it goes back down to 300. Compile that. Let's just give that a quick test. So we should start in our walk, which we do. We hit shift. We're now in our run. We hit it again. We go back to his walk. Okay. Now that is the very basics. We have a character moving around in our scene. Still got some problem with the materials and such, but we're going to fix that. But before we do that, we'll probably go and make some attack animations. Right, we're going to leave that there. Let's just check the time. Oh, we've got another 5 minutes. So let's have a look at these materials while we've got these 5 minutes. So let's go to mesh. Now there are a lot of materials here, and it's the materials that seems to be on his cloak that's given us the problem. And we also have the wrong material applied to the top of his body. So if we click on Harry to open him up, and we can see all the different materials here. Now we're going to have to mess around with this to get this right. But what I'm most concerned about is the translucency on inside of this. Now this might not be a issue with the material. This could be an issue with it not drawing the inside plane of this, right? That could just be an issue with the mesh, and we might just have to accept that. Again, this is something we've just pulled out for free, so that's just some things you get with these things. But we can have a look at the actual materials and see if that is a problem. So to open up the materials, we've got all these here. Click on the first one, and the blend mode is set to opaque. So that's one of the things that can be a problem. It can be translucent, but it's not. It's set to opaque, which is fine. Let's just go through all of these. See if they're all set to opaque, which it does look like they are. So it does look like it's a clipping issue or not drawing the faces. It sees that as the back plane, and it's being told not to draw that. I don't know if I can fix that directly in the engine, or if I have to go into Blender to do that. But I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, this is more about getting a character set up, not about it's not really a modeling tutorial or anything like that. But let's see if we can figure out what part of this, because that's not supposed to be furry. So let's open up Harry. And so it's one of these furry ones. So if we need to just find out which one it is first. So I'll just click that, and then now if you want to add, I need to make this a little bigger so you can see. If you want to select something here and then add it, what you do is, we need to be able to see, is you click on this little arrow here. So let's try this, material 1, and then click on the arrow. And what has that changed? That's changed his hair. Okay, so that's not right. So let's Control Z that. Let's try this one. I think this is going to be his hair as well. Oh no, I didn't mean to open it. Whoops. And then press the button. Nope, Control Z that. Oh, I was in the wrong thing. All right, try. It's here. Nope, that's not it. So where else is the? It's here. Yeah, there we go. I fixed it. All right, cool. But I think we're just going to have to live with the problem of being able to see through his, his dress thing, schmuck, whatever they call it. Yes, we'd like to apply the changes, and that's going to take a while. So we'll probably leave it there. Right, so we've got his. So just to clarify, that was right at the bottom here, and I set that to be material 1, and that fixed his cloak. His cloak, that's what we'll call it, not his dress. I will have a quick look at this, see if I can. It's a quick fix. If not, we'll just leave it, because like I say, it's not really a big deal. We can still get everything we want done and have this. But I'm pretty sure that's the reason why that's happening, that it recognizes this as the front face, and it's just trying to preserve polygons, so it's not rendering the inside. But of course, in this actual instance, we do want it to render the inside, so that's not exactly right. Right, okay, I'll leave this video here just to go over what we've got. It's just compiling the material, so that's going to take a little while. And there we go. We've got him walking, we've got him running, and in the next video, we'll go over how we can make a 3-hit combo animation, or a 3 3 combo like cast attack, and then we will implement that in code. Okay, I'll catch you in the next one.